Hi, today I'm going to show you how to create a transaction in the new Instinet system. So the first thing that I'm going to do is from Northstar, I'm going to either use the Home tab to go to Instinet Forms, or I'm going to click under External Links on the home page on the Instinet Forms button. Once I log into the system, I'm going to either toggle over to the new Instinet by clicking on the button at the top of my transaction as Light and Pro that says New Instinet. So I'll either click on that or on the first page that comes up, there is an option to try the new Instinet. So you can select that option. Everyone has a dashboard in the system. You can add and remove things from the dashboard. The first thing that you have to do is click the Lock Unlock button. And then we're going to say Show Widgets under here. You either have a broker dashboard or an agent dashboard. Broker dashboard individuals also have a View as an Agent option where they can just view their stuff in the system instead of viewing everything for the office. So once I unlock that widget, I can either move these things around, or I can go under here and I can say Show Widgets, and I can add different options to the screen. You do have a limit on how many of the green options that you add, so you want to make sure that if you aren't able to fit a certain item, that you remove one of these green options from here, and then there'll be added options for you to pick from. Once you're finished, you're going to lock the dashboard, and that will save the dashboard settings how they are. It will look like you can move everything around yet, but it will stay in the same spot. You won't be able to move it. Okay, so to create a transaction, all we're going to do is go over to the menu, and there's 3 slash marks at the top if we want to view the menu descriptions. And I'm just going to click on Transaction Desk. And from there, I'm going to click the plus sign or the add button to create the transaction. And from here, I'm going to name my transaction. So I'm going to do a test listing. In the option for template, I'm going to pick my residential listing packet template. And then you can import from MLS or tax information. Make sure if you do that, that you're picking the property type for MLS information or the property identification number for importing from a PID. You're going to need to put the county in as well. So just make sure you follow along and answer all the questions that they're asking on there. If you're pulling from a PID number, there is also a search button. There's going to be a magnifying glass that appears where you can search for the PID number for that listing. Add me as the, we have listing agent, selling agent, neither or both. If you're a staff person doing a transaction on behalf of someone else, you can add the neither button and then add them in under contacts. And I'm always going to pick the option to use the wizard right here. And I'll click Create to Start. Okay, so this is going to bring me to my first page. At the top, I am able to edit that transaction name if I want to at a later time. I can add a photo, so if you have a property photo, you can add that up at the top. I can change the listing type, but I want to make sure that I have that incorrectly first so that my forms populate correctly. And then under transaction status, I have a couple different options under there. In this case, it's an open transaction. So if I'm not pulling from any of either the MLS or the property identification number, I can type in my address information, property type, etc. So just go ahead and fill out all those fields. And then I can put in my listing information, my list price, and our dates are going to be on our next screen, so you're not seeing them there. Some of the information on this page will be only for a sale of a property. So when we're filling out a purchase agreement, we have purchase price, earnest money, etc. You can go ahead and leave any of those fields blank that don't make sense for this type of listing, and it won't populate anything over on those different fields. So from here, I'm just going to click the next button, and it's going to save what I have on this page and bring me to the next step, which, like I said, is the date. So I have a list date here that I can fill in. It's going to pull up a calendar, and I can just click to add it. And once I'm done with this page, again, I can just click the next button, and it'll take me to the next step. Because I said I was the seller landlord agent or the list agent, it pulls my name into here as well as the name of my office. And I have an add button up at the top where I can add my contacts. So I have a couple options under here. I can create a new transaction contact, add an existing contact, or add a contact from Google. So I'm going to pick the create a new contact. And I'm going to add just a little bit of information about that, a type. So I have a seller, and then I just need first name, middle name, last name, and email address in here. And then I have a couple different tabs that I want to fill out as well. I'm just going to add, let's see. Just add it like this, just so you can see where this is pulling to. And when you're putting these in, just make a mental note of which contact you're adding first, just so if you're doing an Authentisign, you can determine what slot to put this individual in. Add to address book is going to add it to my global address book in Instinet so that I can access it later through a different transaction if I need to. Preferred is going to be for a trust or estate or business where you're adding a preferred name, preferred signature, and preferred initial based on what you're provided. And then we have address information right here. Because this is a listing, I have same as property address. If I had the address in the detailed information for that property, I could just click this button and it would add it below. For now, I'm just going to save what I have. And then I'm going to do that a second time if I have a second contact. So create new transaction contact. Make sure that I'm putting a valid email address in there. And under type, we're going to pick seller again, and then add to address book is checked. And again, we have the different tabs at the top if we need them. So we're going to save. And after I have my seller in there, if I don't have any other contacts to add, I can click the next button. You can add any contacts to this, so if you have a contact that doesn't necessarily have to sign something, but you want to store their information in the system, you can certainly put them in here, and you're going to pick the most appropriate contact type. So we'll click next, and it's going to pull up the forms from my packet. It's going to automatically auto-populate the forms, so I don't have to do that separately. All I have to do at this point is just click on each of the forms and make sure that all the information is filled out properly. So on this form, I have the signer's name below and nothing else to fill out. So to get to the next form, I can just click on my transaction forms tab at the top, and then I'm going to click to the next form. And I'm going to make sure that the information is correct there. And I'm going to go to the next form. If I need to fill out any details on the form, there is a save button up here under file. Do make sure you're clicking the save button and then going over to save right here. There is also a save as PDF button if I want to save a PDF copy of this particular document. And that PDF document will not be updated. So you want to make sure that you've finished filling out the document and then save it. So I'm going to go back to transaction forms, click on the next document. This is a disclosure statement, so if I want to send it to my client to have them fill it out, I can again go under transaction forms. I can check the particular form. So let me do, let's see, we want the seller's property disclosure. Looks like I forgot to add that one, so if I need to add the new form at this point, I can go to File and Add Forms. I can go under MN Residential Forms, and I'm going to go under D for Disclosure, and I have the seller's property disclosure right here. I'm going to click the X and then check the box to add it. And then from there, I'm going to go up to Transaction Forms, check the name of the form that I have added, and then I'm going to email. So I want to email this form separately, and the reason for that is because I don't want them to be able to fill out the rest of the forms, just this particular form. So I'm going to click the email button. I'm going to set it as a link, and I'm going to allow recipients to make changes or allow changes. I can set an expiration date on this as well, so I want to make sure I have it back by next Tuesday, so I'm going to expire it out on the 9th. I can pick the individual I want to send it to. And it's, again, only going to show me my transaction contacts. You can access the main contacts from here if you need to. And then I'm going to select the correct individual. I can type a message to them. And if they are going to be sending it back to me via fax, I can create a fax back cover sheet for them. If not, I can leave that box unchecked. And I'm going to check this box to send it off to them. They can fill it out online or they can print it. If they choose to fill it out online, they're going to go to File and Save. And then there's actually another Save button under there. They're going to click on that. And I'm going to receive a notification via email that they've completed the form. And I can go into the form and send it through Authentisign if I want to, or print it for them to sign it. Okay, so once that is done, once I've sent that, I can click to my next form, and I'm going to keep going down the list until I have everything filled out. So once I have everything filled out, I'm going to go to File and Exit. And it's going to take me back to my Forms menu. I am going to click through to the next step first. So I'm going to go Next and check out my documents. From there, I can click the Done button. And it's going to take me to my transaction dashboard. So this is a dashboard for this particular transaction. And from here, I can go back to my Forms tab. And I can email my forms. So if I check this box at the top, it's going to email everything. What I'm going to do is check that box at the top, and then I'm going to go down to my seller's property disclosure that I already sent, and I'm going to uncheck that box because I don't want to send that one again. I'm then going to go to my basket up at the top, just like online shopping. And I have a couple different options that are here. If I hover over each of the options, it's going to give me further details. So if I want to take this through Authentisign, I just have to click that Sign in Authentisign option. I can copy, I can download a zip file of these documents, I can print them, I can print them to PDF, I can email them, fax them, auto-populate them. So if I have added forms after I had left the wizard, then I can auto-populate the forms with the information, or I can delete them. So in this case, we're going to go to Print, and then I'm going to say Print again. and it's going to pull up a PDF, or sorry, a print version of this document. And it looks like I must have clicked on it twice. So this is going to put all of the documents into one, and then I can just say print to print that particular document. And close when I'm done. If I want to change the order, I'm just going to drag and drop these forms into the correct order prior to clicking print. I also have an email button, so I can send via email. So it again is going to be all these options. I believe you can only do 10 forms if I'm sending as an attachment, so I'm going to send them as a link so I can have as many forms as I need. In this case, I'm not going to allow them to edit the forms because I'm going to have my listing contract in here as well. And then I can put the recipient's name and the email address in there, or I can click on here to pick the contacts. You can only do one as the receiving contact, but I believe that if I go to advanced, I can carbon copy other individuals on the email. I also can set an expiration date under there, so that's under advanced options. And when I'm done, I'm going to click the send button, and it will send that email off. And then I also have a copy button. I can copy it into my DocBox. AuthentiSign we'll look at a little bit later in a different video. And then I can download a zip file as well of all the documents. So that's going to be a file that saves on my computer. So that is how I grab the forms. I can do a similar thing with documents. I'm now on the right-hand side going to have a dashboard for my particular transaction. So I can go under any of these different tabs. I can go into documents, and if I have any documents added in here, I can select that document out of there. It doesn't work with the fax back. Let me just add one quick. So I'll add one here. And then I can check that box, and then I have very similar options under here for what I can do with that particular document. All right, so that is a basic transaction. Again, we have a settings tab right here. I can take all the documents through AuthentiSign, or I can choose different documents to take through AuthentiSign. So I can do that through the menu or through my Forms tab. I have tasks right here if you want to add tasks or checklists. Those are over here. That's more of an advanced option, and there's also call logs under here that you can save, within the system. So please let me know if you have any questions. 218-828-4567. Thank you for joining today.